Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari.
Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Vihari, Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradhari.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari.
Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Vihari, Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Girivaradhari.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janvallabha Jaya Girivardhari
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Jai Girivardhari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna. So, a very warm welcome to all of you for today's session on the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start our session with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So we discussed in our previous session. In fact, now we have started the 27th chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we discussed Bhagwan Kapil. He explains about the spirit soul, that how a living entity, he is always aloof, or he is always separate from material actions and reactions. And a very beautiful example was given by Bhagwan Kapil to substantiate this point, that the reflection of the sun in water, although water may get agitated and it may look like the reflection of the sun is getting agitated, but actually it's not agitated. Because of the movement of water, it may look like the reflection is agitated, but actually the sun is situated in its orbit, and the sun globe is never agitated or affected by the movement of water on earth, in which the reflection of sun is present. Right? So similarly, a living entity, although it may look like he is being affected by these material modes and material nature, but Because this material nature is temporary and a living entity is experiencing this material nature, so when a living entity transcends the three modes, when a so living entity, when he transcends the three modes, means when he becomes a pure devotee, then although it may look like he is having a material body and it may look like he is also experiencing pains and pleasures of the material body, but because a pure devotee transcends the three modes, he does not get affected by all these things. So now today we'll begin our discussion with text 2, shloka number 2 of the 27th chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. स एष यर्हि प्रकृतेर् गुणेष् अभिविषज्यते अहंक्रिया विमूढ़ात्मा कर्तास्मीति अभिमन्यते. स एष यर्हि प्रकृतेर् गुणेष्वभिविसज्जते अहंक्रिया विमूढ़ात्मा कर्तास्मीत्यभिमन्यते. Translation: when the soul is under the spell of material nature and false ego, identifying his body as the self, he becomes absorbed in material activities. And by the influence of false ego, he thinks that he is the proprietor of everything. Now you see, in the previous shloka, the example was given of the sun and reflection of the sun in water. Now in this shloka, Bhagwan Kapil is saying that sa esha yarhi prakriter. Prakriter means this material nature, and sa means the living entity. Guneshu abhivishajjate. Guneshu means the three modes of material nature. Ahankriya vimudhatma. So basically here in this shloka, Bhagwan Kapil is saying that when a living entity is within Prakriti, when the living entity has entered into this material Prakriti or material nature, then Guneshu abhivishajjate, then he is covered by the three modes. Guneshu means gunas. Gunas means the three modes. Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. So then the living entity is covered by these three modes. Okay. And then what happens? When a living entity is covered by these three modes, what happens? These three modes of material nature, they create an illusion of reality in this material body. Okay. Because body, human material body is temporary. This human body is basically made up of the three modes, isn't it? And this human body, or this, not only human body, any material body, is actually a dead body. Only because the spirit soul animates, because the spirit soul is present within the body, this body becomes animated. But as soon as the spirit soul leaves the body becomes useless, isn't it? So this material body is actually a dead vehicle. Just because the spirit soul is present within the vehicle or within the body, That's why this body has got value. So that is what here Bhagwan Kapil is saying. That the living entity, when he is under the influence of Prakriti, and Prakriti means what? Guneshu Abhishajyate. He gets covered by the three modes. And then what happens? Aham kriyami moodhatma. Aham kriya. Aham kriya means ahankar, false ego. Vimodhatma means a person gets bewildered by false ego, or he becomes foolish because of false ego. And karta smiti abhimanyate, and he thinks that he is the doer. There is a very similar shloka with respect to this shloka in the Bhagavad Gita also. All of you can go and refer to that shloka. Now, you all can go and refer to that. The 27th shloka of the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The 27th shloka of the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So, what is Lord Krishna saying in that shloka? So, Lord Krishna says that Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha. So, Lord Krishna, he says in the 27th shloka of the third chapter that Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankar vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. You see, exactly the same words are used here. Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha. You see, स एष यर्हि प्रकृतेर गुणेषु अभिसज्जते. अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा. Here the word is used ahankriya vimudhatma. Kartasmiti abhimanyate, and there the word is kartaham iti manyate. So exactly the same shloka is there in Srimad Bhagavatam also. So a living entity ideally he has nothing to do with this material nature. Right? A living entity or a spirit soul, he has been given the free will or freedom to choose whether he wants to serve Krishna or Maya. Maya means this material energy. So a living entity or a spirit soul has been given this option. He has two options always. Whether he wants to serve Krishna or whether he wants to serve Maya. So that freedom to choose between Krishna and Maya, that freedom is called free will. So that free will, when it is misused by the living entity, then the living entity enters into this material existence. And then all these things happen. What we see here in this shloka, sa esh yarhi prakriter Gunesha Vishajjate. You know, all these things happen. Why? Because the living entity, he has misused his free will against Krishna. He has chosen to serve Maya. Okay. If a living entity has chosen to serve Maya, then he has to come under the influence of these three modes, which are like shackles. They are like chains. A living entity is chained or shackled into this material existence because of the three modes. Actually, in Sanskrit, the word guna also means ropes. Rope. Rope means with which you tie a person. So the three modes are like ropes. Ropes are used to tie a person, isn't it? The three modes are like ropes. And a living entity is tied to this material world. A living entity is bound to this material world because of these three modes. So until unless a living entity engages himself in devotional service to Krishna, there is no hope for him to transcend the three modes. Because there is only one personality who is not within the three modes in this whole creation. And who is that? Krishna. Krishna is never subject to the three modes of material nature. So if we have to surpass this material nature, we also have to engage in devotional service to Krishna. So when a living entity begins or when he again engages himself in devotional service to Krishna, then he also surpasses the three modes. And in this way, so that is the only solution in this material world. The only solution is to engage in devotional service to Krishna. And what is that devotional service to Krishna? That devotional service to Krishna is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Of course, there are many types of devotional service because Krishna is infinite and his services are also infinite. So Krishna has infinite eating potential or so Shravanam and Kirtanam form the foundation of our loving devotional service to Krishna. All other different devotional services which people perform, they are all directly linked to Shravanam and Kirtanam. If we don't do Shravanam properly, and in fact, of all the devotional services which we perform, the highest and the most important is Shravanam, hearing from Guru, hearing from the spiritual master. Shravanam forms the basis or the foundation of our whole spiritual life. People don't realize how important Shravanam is. Because whatever position we are today, all of you, those who attend Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, whatever position you are, at least you are much better than what you were 2, 3 years back, 4 years back. So that transition, that transformation which has taken place, it is only because of Shravanam. Whatever transition has taken place, whatever transformation has taken place, it is all because of Shravanam. So Shravanam is the foundation and the basis of our whole spiritual journey. It's the foundation. So what happens when we do Shravanam? When we hear Krishna Katha from the spiritual master, what happens? You see, what is the meaning of Shravanam? Now, Shravanam does not mean hearing nonsense. Because there are so many topics which we can hear. But Shravanam means hearing from Guru, hearing from the spiritual master. That is the meaning of Shravanam. Shravanam does not mean that we start listening to some nonsensical topics. That is not Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Shravanam means when we hear from Guru, when we hear from the spiritual master. That's how Lord Brahma got initiated, isn't it? We all know this. We have discussed in the previous canto, in the second canto. What did we discuss? How Lord Brahma, how Lord Brahma got initiated by Lord Vishnu? By hearing, by Shravanam. So, by hearing from Guru, we become advanced. If we hear from any other person, that will not give us real benefit. So, the secret of success in spiritual life is hearing from the spiritual master, hearing from Guru. And that is the prerequisite for everyone to transcend the three modes. Right? So Shravanam does not mean to hear anything and everything. No, only Krishna Katha from the spiritual master. That is called Shravanam. That is hearing. In fact, that is what is the definition of a brahmachari. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasan Dante Gurur Hitam. Hearing Krishna Katha from the spiritual master. That is Shravanam. So when we do that, when we do regular Shravanam, then what happens? Our consciousness becomes purified. And what happens? You see here it is mentioned. Aham kriya vimodhatma. So that ahankar, that false ego gets crushed. And when that false ego gets crushed, that's when a living entity's real ego gets awakened. Until unless false ego is destroyed, how will real ego awaken? So the false ego gets crushed and our real ego gets awakened by hearing from the spiritual master. Okay. So, living entity under the influence of Prakriti starts to think himself in terms of the three modes, and he starts to act in a uh, act in a manner in which he gets influenced. He thinks that he is the doer, but actually he is not the doer. Who is doing everything? The three modes of material nature. But how will a living entity know all these things? How will he realize all these things? By the power of divine knowledge. That is the name of the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, divine knowledge. And how to receive divine knowledge is given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. 34th shloka of the fourth chapter. You all can go and refer to that shloka. So in that Lord Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. So Arjun, if you want to receive divine knowledge, you have to go to spiritual master, you have to bow down before him and you have to serve him. So this is how we transcend the three modes by systematic hearing, systematic shravanam from the spiritual master. And that is the way we get initiated into spiritual life. There is a formal process of initiation which we conduct after few, generally during Janmashtami, we conduct the process of initiation where disciples, they get initiated from the spiritual master. But that is a formal procedure. The original procedure is the moment we start hearing from the spiritual master, that moment we get initiated. That's how Lord Brahma got initiated from Lord Vishnu. That's how Narad Rishi got initiated by Lord Brahma. That's how Vyasdev got initiated by Narad Rishi. So in this way, so real initiation or real beginning of spiritual life happens when we start the process of Shravanam. And that's how we come out of this false ego and our real ego gets awakened. And then a person, and once real ego gets awakened, then we realize who we are. Then we'll never engage in service of any other person except Krishna. Because if we have an opportunity to serve Krishna, if we have an opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why will we serve any ordinary person? Why will we serve a third class person? If we have an opportunity to serve Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So this is a very important shloka because a very similar shloka is present in the Bhagavad Gita also. That Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankar vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. So under the influence of ahankar, under the influence of false ego, a person thinks that he is doing everything, he is the doer, but actually he is not doing. So there are some more aspects uh, to this aspect of Sankhya Yoga, because all these things what we are discussing here, it all comes under Sankhya Yoga. So there are various aspects of Sankhya Yoga which we'll be discussing in the upcoming sessions. In the upcoming shlokas also. Because this shloka is very important, because in this shloka, Bhagwan Kapil is revealing to us that how a living entity comes under this illusion that he is the doer. But actually, he is not the doer. The original doer is Krishna and his energies in the form of the three modes of material nature. So those who are new to the channel can subscribe. All of you can like, comment, share. We'll stop here. We'll continue our discussion in the next session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.